welcome back and welcome to another book talk. I knew when I read this book that I was going to end up speaking to you about it because I put this many tabs in it. So the book I'm talking about obviously is Note to Self by Franta, and I will also mention in this video Work in Progress by Franta because I finished reading this book and immediately started reading that one. So the blurb on the back says, "This is an open diary. This gives my insides a voice through visuals and poetry. This is me spilled out onto paper." And that's exactly what it is. This book is a combination of images, poems, and actual kind of prose as well. I flagged this chapter in particular. Basically, I'm going to tell you some of my favourite bits and why I like them. So this one's called A Mindful Mind, and I flagged this one because of this particular sentence here. Why is everyone in such a damn hurry? Why the constant rush? Why are people always running late? Who will die if that email isn't answered in moving traffic? Can we sit down, breathe, and enjoy a minor pause for like 2 minutes? I just don't get it. Someone whose entire world revolves around all those things that are grinding my gears just can't understand when we all became so this. And that really struck a chord with me because before moving to Denver, obviously I was in quite a busy job, and I remember sitting down and saying to my mum once I'd left before moving over here, I was like, I don't have anything to do with the phone that's in my hand. Like, obviously there's, you know, Twitter and Facebook and everything like that, but I was so used to having, you know, if I've got a moment, I have to do this paperwork, I have to answer this email, I have to mark these books, I have to plan this lesson, this person's, you know, asked me a question, I have to respond to this. And so, you know, I would go and I would, you know, go and get my lunch, and at the same time I'd be reading my emails on my phone, responding to them, or seeing that, oh, so-and-so wants to speak to me, so I have to grab the lunch and go and speak to them. And it's like I didn't know what to do with my hands when I didn't have those emails to answer, and I felt guilty if I sat down and watched the TV without doing something at the same time, or if I sat down and read a book without doing something at the same time. I was always reading a book in audiobook form on the way to work and back, or on the way to shopping and back. You know, I was sitting in Starbucks, I had to be doing something else at the same time. Every single thing was multitasking, and it's like, oh yes, somebody else knows what this means. There's also some very beautiful moments about heartbreak and some very personal things in here. And then there are some amazing photos. I loved this page. If you follow me on Snapchat and Instagram, you'll have seen that I took a picture of this page. Obviously it matches the one on the front there, and I was just like, oh, it's so gorgeous. It's the texture of the picture as well, and I'm sure that these are on Instagram and I've just not. And then this one with the sunset, again, you can feel that you're just right there. Obviously I'm not going to show you all of the book because you should buy the book yourself or check it out at the library and read it because it's beautiful, but I'm so glad that I bought this on hard copy and not audiobook, because otherwise I would miss out on the gorgeous pictures. And then this one here, again, I really kind of resonated with this one. Do you know what I appreciate? Morning silence. When I'm up and awake before anyone else and the sun has just risen and sends shimmering beams of gold through the window, drenching my home in light. When I'm walking around trying to be as weightless as a feather, but the floorboards still manage to emit a slight creak or two. From outside, the sound of an occasional passing car momentarily interrupts the quiet daybreak, but I hear it almost greeting, "Hello, fairly early riser. How do you do? Where are you off to?" And again, that took me back to that time when, that time between waking up and leaving the house and getting in the car, that moment of walking to my car, because I couldn't always get the car parked outside the house. Sometimes I have a little walk to the car with my big teacher bags, and I appreciated that silence. You know, it was 6 a.m, there was no one else around, there was cars going across the bottom of the road, but there wasn't anyone else on my street, and it was just like, because as soon as I woke up, I'd be on the phone, answering emails, getting dressed, listening to some audiobook, and I'd leave the house, and that was quiet time. And then one more here. I loved this one because I like going to that restaurant in particular. I think I showed that in my booktubeathon wrap up. That Ed's there at the bottom of Old Compton Street. I used to always meet people there. That used to be like my meeting spot, and so I loved the picture of that one. And that is very London, that reflection of the lights in the puddles as well after it's rained. So there was just so much that I could identify with in this book, even though I'm kind of older and in a completely different job than this particular author. It was just, yeah, it was beautiful. The poetry was lovely. There was one poem in particular about a breakup, but you know, you can see some of them are shorter, and we've got longer pieces of prose as well, and then some of the poems are longer. And it's just a gorgeous book, and I think it's something that I may go back and reread again, or pick up one of the essays in particular to reread. And then I saw when I got to the back of the book that he'd had another book out that was more like a memoir, and so I did download that one on audiobook, just so, because it was read by him, just so I could read that as well. And again, it's like, you know, he talks about his kind of growing up, and his you know, his health and his mental health, and his job, and it was interesting kind of reading that one second after having read this. And I really think I would read them that way round. Like, I know this is the second book and they're not like sequels or anything like that, but I think having read this and then getting to know him a bit more through the other audiobook, I would recommend both of them. This is gorgeous. Get this as a physical book, obviously. And then, yeah, I recommend the audiobook for the other one. Yeah, so just wanted to highlight that, and the beautiful afternoon I had reading that one out in the sunshine. Yeah, it was lovely. If you have read this or read the other one, a work in progress, note to self, either of them, please let me know in comments, or let me know if you have got this one or checked it out from the library to read it, because there are so many more pages I could have flagged but didn't. And yeah, I'll definitely go back and revisit those. As I say, I shared some of them on social media as I was reading it because it was just beautiful. Okay, I will have another video for you very soon. Don't forget, all my social media links and my blog link are down below, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I would love you to click that subscribe button and join me. So I will see you in my next video. Bye.